there's a level of mind control that does exist out there that I've seen, that I've had close experiences with, especially people that are programmed to be in a state of fear if someone was to get involved in speaking their truth on video. And I want to focus the message in this video that one video can change the world. And so if we lose sight, right, of where we're really going with this by getting distracted with regards to monetization issues and things that deal with lack and limitation, then we're going to forget why we got involved in this to begin with. I got involved in this before there was a YouTube AdSense and before there was a YouTube. I didn't even know there was a YouTube at the time that I started out in branding my channel and incorporating and doing any of that LLC. I haven't done any of that. But the general point is I just jumped into it. And I've seen the potential of the internet. There's certain stories, by the way, that I may have been passionate about over the years, and I may not have seen very much tread with regards to those things. Found myself later in Costilla County, Colorado, around the time in which people were being evicted from their properties for not being up to code. And I just had a feeling that I was meant to be there to at least cover that. What happened was word got out and stories were written about it. And some people that were planning to come out rethought their travel plans. You need to consider a situation to where someone's spending thousands of dollars to relocate and they don't even know what's going on. Their realtor told them, and people that sell the land tell them, oh, it's fine, it's fine. And still to this day, people are selling land in Costilla County on YouTube. Type it in. There's plenty of videos about Costilla County where it's just buy land for sale, cheap, cheap, cheap. But they don't tell you down there in the description that if you move there, you might deal with some complications. And if you move there broke, well, hell, you could end up homeless in your RV in Alamosa or some surrounding areas. So I use that as an example, as a video that can get out there. And there are other videos that can get out there that somebody may not intend to get out there to a large audience. You can have someone with no subscribers at all, starts a YouTube channel, puts out a video, and they're reaching 650,000 people. Now, people talk a lot about the cat videos. I think they also should be, when they're being critical of some of the crap that people are into, I think cat videos is the least of our concerns. Look at all these gaming channels. And there are people that literally, I mean, I'm not being critical per se. I think it is odd. Monetized gaming. I think that concept's a little odd, but whatever you want to do with your YouTube channel is up to you. The thing is, one video can change the world. I think people could benefit from recentering on an idea that can change the world, and what that idea might be, and what would it be? Would it be a world star hip hop type video? Would it just be another cop watching video? Another cop exposed? Would it be another video in which another media figure, a celebrity, is exposed? But what would be an idea that would change the world? That would be unique? And I think the answer is different for each and every one of us. You see, I'm not about uniformity. I'm not about everybody saying the same thing. It would be nice if you got along a little bit more like society in general, modern day. But we're not going to see eye to eye, and we were born differently and under different star signs, if you will, in which there are different, we're not like a centralized hive mind, but there's an element of that too. What I'm saying is each one of us, just like we have a unique thumbprint, fingerprint, and a unique voice signature with unique biometrics. I mean, just by learning about this, and each one of us is born so unique. Well, with that also comes your unique ideas and what YouTube has provided, monetized or not. Let's look at what it's really about. An idea that riot cops cannot hold down or stop. We hear about censorship and blah, 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 but yet a lot of documentaries that I've seen over the years are still there. And some of the people that were yelling about them being demonetized or being censored are actually at the top of the alternative media, if you will. But that's their journey. Then there's ours. And the fact of the matter is, one video can change the world. And if there's good intentions behind that video and it's just not designed, it's not designed to be super viral based on fear, 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 but maybe something a little bit more powerful, then that should outweigh the fears that we're programmed with. My generation, there's a lot of fear. And I dealt with a lot of judgment when I started my show on Access TV when I was living with roommates. Some people were afraid that one day the doors would be kicked in like something out of Gray State. Simply because I was living in the house. I was doing a daily radio show, one time on RBN, one time on Oracle Broadcasting, American Freedom Radio as well, doing videos on Access TV. And there was a lot of rehashed paranoia from certain individuals that have taken their propaganda to the next level in the alternative media. But the martial law, they're going to lock us up. Or everybody's on a terror watch list. And on and on and on. And yet there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. But is there strength, right? Than living in fear. And so for me in the early days, I'd say things have gotten a little bit scarier lately and we need to overcome the fear. But in the early days of my activism, I felt fearless. And after 9/11 and the activism and me going around with 15 other truthers at the time, although I don't think there's a lot of truthing going on these days, but at one point it felt like there was a movement. And it literally felt, at least for a moment, that we had the ability to change the world. Or that we were changing our environment energetically through just simply broadcasting the idea of waking up, that it was causing a ripple in the matrix. And it felt powerful. It felt awkward for me to then change into a penguin outfit to go bust tables for Ruth Chris Steakhouse, a job that I held for 5 years until I was laid off during the downtime in 2009 when business just, but only temporarily. You know, in the end, losing that job was important because it set me free. It was difficult in the years after that, and the idea of getting back in the restaurant industry, starting at the bottom again, going 30, when I've been building up something else. And so, there was a path to going off the grid and a path to this point. And it hasn't been easy. There's just been a lot of complications along the way. And see, getting back to our main topic here, I see the positivity that I have been able to generate despite being called a conspiracy theorist. And how that content that I have created that some people may not have seen, that I believe is empowering, has helped some people unplug from the matrix. Energetically, I felt to a certain degree during certain periods under spiritual attack for even wanting to help people. And I've seen people attack me as well. And all I'm doing is asking people to look at the larger picture. So for me, it's not literally about one video, but videos as a modern medium, other than a weapon, other than something violent, to change the world for the better. Using this technology, you hear me say this often, I don't hear others say this, so I feel like my role is to say things that others don't say, and there's so much that I have to say that others aren't saying, and I'm not interested in parroting what others are saying. But I have to say now is that our ancestors didn't have this technology to be able to freely come to someone across the planet. Now, YouTube isn't worldwide. We are locked into the Western world. Okay, there's certain realities to that. But was this technology available to us at such an affordable rate? Here I am coming to you from off the grid on a budget of less than $500 per month. Some cases far less than that. And making it month after month after month. And it's not easy to eat, drink, sleep, breathe independent media content creation all the time, and in the same place in which you're dwelling, and in the same place in which you have your moments off. And there's periods in which I struggle to have the inspiration to do as many videos as I really think that I should. And so there's times to take a break. And sometimes that's important to stop and reflect. Instead of doing 10 podcasts, instead of doing like a bunch of videos about a bunch of news items, pausing, reflecting for a few days, and then delivering the words that I need to deliver at that moment. And when I look at some of the videos that I've done in which there's a sense of appreciation from the viewer, it has nothing to do with the content that I've created that could be considered conspiratorial, even though that's been primarily a lot of the content that I've created. It's been about relationships. There's a video I have, what women need to know about men in today's society. And then I did the reverse, what men need to know about many women in today's society. So instead of completely hating on all the men and hating on all the women, I talked about the programming, as I continue to, and the need to get outside of the gender warfare box. You know, even for those of us that have gone our own way, if you will, there's limitation to the MGTOW box, which is why I don't do videos tagging that anymore, and the energy that it draws. And so I can look at videos that I don't even consider to be like videos that are like my primary core topics at all. But these moments in my life to where I just flipped on the camera and I just started talking. And not only is it therapeutic to share, when it helps someone unplug from the matrix, address their lower selves. I'm talking to men about accessing their higher selves and not being a slave to your lust. And then also saying some things that I have with regards to women and how men are put into certain boxes and going deep into that. And there's also a time where I just don't even want to even comment on it anymore because what needed to be said has been said. And I also think that in the future, if we go through any type of a civilization reset via a massive solar flare, we're going to see obviously massive destruction, loss of human lives. But over time, relationships between humans should be restored to nature. Let's say there was a massive solar flare during a massive height of war, maybe even an invasion of the United States. Maybe even things where kidnappings are going on and not to sound so egocentric that the United States would get its divine intervention, other countries wouldn't. That's something to consider for those that think that we're going to be saved. But I've heard different scenarios along those lines. I think the point is, with one video can change the world is giving hope. And I think there's a point in which there's a place for my outside the box ideas to be introduced to the discussion. It's not about looking exclusively at the future with fear, especially when we're learning about the power of the sun, which gives life to all. Why is that something to fear? And there's a reason why they've been doing that, and there's a reason why they've been spraying the skies. But there is a link between the changes in the sun and changes in our consciousness, accessing new information. And also periods in which I believe they stage their false flags and they have their major events that whip the masses into a frenzy because they have changes going on in their brain, their melatonin. They have changes going on with their hormones. They have changes going on with their pituitary gland. Some say even the pineal gland. And this is something that people overlook. So when I put out the free ebook, and if you want to check out my free ebook, visit alexansary.tv. Looks like I misspelled my name in some of the previous videos, but I'll still put them out because it's not about perfection. What needed to be said has been said, but it's alexansary.tv. Check out the free ebook. An idea can change the world. If people can learn that there are certain times in which people that are already on the edge go extra over the edge, take that extra drink, are duped into a fight, because of the electromagnetic energy that's in the air and affecting their body, which has its own field, as most of you know. If they know about this, proactive response is things like grounding and knowing how to use the data available at spaceweather.gov and spaceweather.com. You know, and understanding that we are electric beings, and with that comes a little bit of responsibility for our own energy. So as people develop this information, and they can also start to see the patterns to the false flags. You know, if an idea like that can get around the world, that the world power elite just so happens to stage their invasions and their major events during periods in which we're seeing an increase in solar flares, also known as solar max or the solar maximum period, which occurs every few years, for a few years, on average every 11 years, as we reach a maximum and then go into a minimum. Maximum, go into a minimum. So we had 9/11 around a maximum. We had Fukushima in that event around a maximum. Okay, we have other major protests and Occupy starting up when the solar flare cycle 24 started up. So humans respond to these kinds of energies. If somehow people can learn, and I'm not even getting new agey here, it's not just solar panels that are charged by the sun. And that's why we see particular trends in our world. So having this knowledge, as people look forward into the future, we can also look beyond doom and gloom. We can look at periods in which there's going to be more energy, there's going to be more activity. Perhaps there's going to be more people waking up. And so by knowing that this is the quiet before the storm, even as frightening as things may seem geopolitically, we have more than a few years left before things go to the next level. Okay, we can use this time to continue to get out the message, whatever that message may be, and our messages are different. I want to say earlier, you know, we all are here with our own truth, which is like a puzzle piece. And when we share our truth, it's like sharing a public puzzle piece. Think open source. I don't want to get blockchainy. Get old. But when you have humans using this technology, putting out their puzzle piece, these puzzle pieces interlock with other people's puzzle pieces. And they may not even realize it. Their ego, right, maybe through the roof, as smart as they are, that they're not able to see that there's someone else that can contribute to their story. So whether I'm looking at geopolitics and things that I've talked about and some of those stories that I've looked at, or the solar flares, or issues like spiritual warfare and protection, I'm always looking at this open source web here on YouTube free of charge, where it was free for them to upload and free for somebody to watch. That is powerful. And there are videos out there that are changing the world. It isn't just extremist content on YouTube. Just like there's more to the future than threats. There's possibilities. So I'm just going to close with this. While this medium is still up, hell, you're talking to a guy or looking at a guy, listening to a guy, watching a guy that's already predicted a Google, YouTube doomsday. They could see the worst coming. But am I going to let that control my reality until that day? No. Just the other day, my Google check was late. Did I make a video freaking out, doing a massive fundraising GoFundMe? No. I kept my mouth shut, and I said I'm going to stay positive. Everything's going to work itself out, and I'm just going to keep going. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So thank you for watching. Please sign up for my newsletter. I want to get in the habit of sending you my content. It's going to be on both YouTube and DTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my DTube channel. If you're watching this on DTube, follow the link down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be putting this video out on both mediums. Till the next video, I'm Alex Ansary, reminding you the path to the ultimate truth and place of power still lies within.